So moving a little bit, Larry, okay. Just to be sure, because I forgot to ask you before, we are about for 35 minutes now. How long do we have today on your time? Just because there's
yeah, we can go a little after 2.
okay.
Maybe I was done by like 2:15. I've got another date with Andre Martiano.
Oh, send him here, regards. Long time I have to write him. Long times don't talk to him. My question here is the following: we have this happening, and then they blame Iran. Then we have these weird events on Biden, just being sacked on live TV or on Twitter, on whatever he did or someone did for him, of course. Then we have the Olympics. And the Olympics, it starts with a menace to Iran. Something happened on the trains in France, and Israeli foreign minister just saying that it was Iran's fault. What's going on there? Because there was also, in the meantime, there was also Bibi Netanyahu's visit to the United States, and that was very interesting visit for me. But it's clear that Israel is trying to push Iran. I mean, just 2 days away, we had this missile situation that nobody knows where the missile came from, but in any way, they are blaming Hezbollah. Are they trying? Are they really thinking that it's possible to get there?
Yeah. So the real jumble of confusion. Let's start with Paris. They captured the guy. He was some lefty, radical climate guy, and so it wasn't Russia, it wasn't Iran, so they were ruled out. But then Netanyahu, his visit to the United States was for the purpose of securing promises, assurances that the United States would have his back, the back of Israel, if they expand the war or go after Hezbollah and Iran. And apparently they got those assurances. So then, we get this report that, oh my God, Hezbollah has killed 10 children. No, it's 11. No, it's 12. And all the while leaving the impression that it was Israeli children. It wasn't Israeli children. They're Druze, Syrians, citizens of Syria, but they're living in territory occupied by Israel. And I thought, man, that's sort of curious because that story was, leading the news on most channels. Well, the Israelis, the Zionists, have been killing that many Palestinian kids every day for the last 9 months, for God's sake. Yeah. So it's like, what makes this different? And we also know for a fact that Hezbollah has not been launching attacks that have been killing Israeli children prior to this. I don't think it was Hezbollah, but let's just assume that this was Hezbollah. We know that Hezbollah has not been targeting Israeli children because you look back over the last, since October 7th, so that's almost 10 months. Mm-hmm. Israel's not been reporting, oh my God, we got hit with a rocket from Hezbollah and it killed all this, killed this family. We're not getting those reports. Hezbollah has confined itself to attacking military targets because they view the Israeli military as the threat, not necessarily the Israeli people. And so,
from what I understand, every time they are just focusing on territory that is occupied by Israel, like South Lebanon or the Golan Heights. I remember months, or perhaps years ago. No, not years, but many months ago when this started, you reporting that the zones of Golan Heights and South Lebanon, most of these are Israeli colons. How's it called? Well, the Israeli that
kibbutz.
Yeah, the kibbutz, they were completely empty. people had just went out of those areas. Perhaps it was not
So
you.
no, that was me. So the problem Israel has is it's internally divided, significantly divided. There is no longer unity of purpose. We saw, for example, yesterday, Israeli military police went into one of the prisons to arrest Israeli guards who had gang raped Palestinian prisoners, and many times gang raped them using broom handles to sodomize them. Well, that was immediately opposed by Ben Gvir, the Homeland Security chief, and you had all these settlers from the West Bank pour out and start fighting the Israeli military. So you got that going on, and that's continuing to today. They don't want this investigated. They want to be able to kill, murder, rape, whoever they want. I mean, these Zionists, they're a despicable lot. They're inhuman in their conduct. There's nothing honorable about them. They need to be destroyed, candidly. So you've got that going on, and yet here's the Israelis really believe, and I know this from talking to an acquaintance yesterday, because he said, I've been talking to my friends in Israel, and they're these senior people. Man, they're going to go into Lebanon, they're going to destroy Hezbollah. And I go, no, they're not. I mean, yes, they may go in, but Israel's more likely to be destroyed than Hezbollah. And he goes, that's not what they believe. I said, well, I don't care what they believe. There's a reality, because here we are, 9 months going on the 10th month. So we get August, September, and then we're back to October 7th. That Israel's failed to defeat Hamas. And the head of the IDF has admitted, we can't defeat them. They can't defeat an idea. Well, Hamas is at least 1/3 the size of Hezbollah, and not as well armed, equipped, or trained, or experienced. Hezbollah is an actual army, and Hamas isn't. So if Israel deigns to go into southern Lebanon, and its foreign minister Katz claimed that they had the backing of Europe and the United States to do that, it's going to be a disaster.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because my reading of I'm not saying I'm right here. For Christ's sake, I'm far from even thinking being right. But my reading about body language and actual language from Kamala Harris, I don't know if you saw the entire video from Trump meeting Netanyahu, because it surged. It's a 22-second video. If you haven't seen the big one, I sent you. I managed to record the screen because it vanished from the internet. Mm-hmm. And then they replaced with the 7-second video that basically is Trump, walking away from Netanyahu. But my reading was that he went there, he was asking for support. Kamala, for example, she came out and said, well, we had a very frank conversation. That's not good news, usually. And then we have this Donald Trump, walking away. And then the big video with 22 seconds, I showed here in the channel a couple of days ago. Then he comes back. It's like someone tells him, well, you have to go back. And then say, yeah, the boss wants me back. But when he comes back, he's not happy. And he says something that, I'm not a good lip reader. But the body language that I read was that, oh, dude, you toast. Like he's saying that to Netanyahu. You toast, you goner. And when I discussed this with Lucas Leroy's here in the channel the other day, my impression is that, the bosses of Netanyahu, who are the same bosses of Trump and Biden and Kamala. They want to get Netanyahu fired, and we have a divided, as you say, we have a divided Israel situation, and now they want to push a war against Iran. I'm seeing a lot of people barking in Twitter. Oh, we're going to throw Lebanon back to Stone Age, and they are saying that for a month, and not doing too much.
Yeah, they're like, what's the most expensive house that you've ever seen?
Oh, not mine for sure.
Well, but I'm saying, think of the most expensive house. One that's like cost $50 million.
Uh-huh.
And you're sitting, but you're living in a house that's right now, let's say, is worth $200,000. It's a nice house, but you say, I want to live in that $50 million house. All right, well, do you have the money? Do you have the down payment? Can you make the payments? So you're going, yeah, no. And that's what Israel is doing. Israel's living, Israel's current in the domestic security situation is a $200,000 house. And now they're talking about, though, we want to buy that $5 million piece of property up in Lebanon, and then we want to go for the $100 million over in Iran. But you're only working as a baker and making $50,000 a year. So how are you going to pay for that? Well, they can't. So that's what I'm saying. There's this disconnect between what they're saying that they want to do and what they can actually do. And that's why it's the split that's developing in Israel pits the actual military, Gallant and his crew, against these religious extremists, Ben Gvir, Bezalel, Smotrich, the real divide between those two. Mm-hmm. And, who sang that song, Divided We Stand, United, or Divided We Fall, United We Stand. That's the problem. Israel is increasingly divided, not united. And trying to carry out a war in those conditions is suicide.